syncopated pattern of perversion had emerged after Deacon Dregan's subcommittee on subversion had adjourned. There were reliable reports of smiling, even laughter, daily disregarding dogma, no thought of ever after. We can't allow the populace its popular diversions. Transgressions and regressions dictate more coerced conversions. The convention reconvened with ample ardor for more order. We must concentrate control and decontaminate our borders. Free will and feeling well have attained tenacious tenure. Freedom must be halted if we ever are to win here. Round up the rabble-rousers, reveal their irrelevance. Drag them by their trousers to the intensive training tents. Attach the apparatus aptly to their heads. Recondition their sedition. Mold their minds with micromans. Disinfect the disenfranchised. Sterilize the streets. We'll wipe those silly smiles off of everyone we meet. Sanitizing souls hearkens to a higher calling. Hoist your eyes, heavenwise. Ignore the bodies falling. When I was older, I drove a car, had a job, drank in a bar, took a wife, had a happy life, had 2 kids, one died of SIDS. He's my brother now. I don't know just how, but I might have known back then, as my hair was getting thin and my belly was getting fat. I do remember that. My motivation is mine. It runs out of time. This is not just a space, it's an interdimensional base. I'm in and out, a whisper and a shout, never isolated, even with breath abated. I'm here, there, and everywhere, infinite in scope, brilliant and a dope. I'm spooky at a distance, without a shred of resistance. You look and think that's me, but I'm more than you can see. Watching from the cliffs on high, he pondered if to live or die. The waves below, with relentless crashing, into the ancient rocks were smashing. Who, he wondered, is tortured most, his wretched heart or this shattered coast? An angry sea's incessant hunger endlessly pounds the rocks asunder. Hour by hour, day by day, the insatiable sea eats the rocks away. Surveying the scene, he could empathize. The pain of the rocks, he could sympathize. His heart was dashed by the sea of love. There was no help from God above. The only time he wasn't weeping was at night while rarely sleeping. The rocks below had no such rest. Compared to them, he had it best. If only he could ease their pain, cushion the blow from the waves' refrain. He leapt into space and joined the fray in an effort to keep the waves at bay. Morty MacDonald was in dire straits. His heart was failing with variable rates. He whispered to Molly, the love of his life, "Come close to my side, my wonderful wife. Now, Molly, I'm sick, and it's surely no fun, so be a dear, won't you, and call 911. Into the ambulance, sweet Molly by his side, went Morty MacDonald for his one final ride. In the ER, he was quickly diagnosed. Geez, look at that 12 lead. This guy's toast. Let's transfer this guy. Let's transfer him fast. With damage like that, his pump cannot last. The unit was busy. The nurses were tense. News of Morty's arrival caused the charge nurse to wince. I don't have the staff to take this assignment. I wonder where that nurse who worked part-time went. You have to save him, said Molly in tears, as she tried to suppress the worst of her fears. Mrs. McDonald, your husband's quite ill. It's not like we can fix him with some magic pill. I'm sorry I said that. I'm really quite stressed. Please wait outside while we get him undressed. Poor Molly shuffled off to the crowded waiting room. Her hope was receding. She sensed coming doom. Despite a balloon pump and every known drip, his vitals were shaky. He began to slip. Hang in there, buddy. Stay with me, Morty. The nurses encouraged him, but his pressure was 40. Molly felt funny. What is that smell? Her pupils dilated just as she fell. Morty's complexes were infrequent and wide. That's pretty much when they both died. Their story was legend throughout the house. They all knew the story of Morty and spouse. When things turned up missing or there'd be a strange sound, oh, that just means Mort and Molly are around. This was rather amusing when sunny and bright, but the humor was lost when alone late at night. What was that shadow? Is somebody there? Did you hear that? What's in that chair? The night shift was spooked, nervous at best. The day shift just figured they needed some rest. Morty was seen walking out of the unit, his skinny white butt sticking out of his tunic. Molly hung out in the room meant for waiting. The nurses were used to the screaming and fainting. One night, a traveler named Lori, who was new to the unit but knew of the story, saw Morty walk by so frail and hollow, but not being afraid, she began to follow. He walked out of the hall. He sort of glided. Lori, close by, was fascinated, excited. He went down the hall and looked in each door. Just what are you looking for? Have you seen Molly, my wonderful wife? I last saw her near the end of my life. I have an idea where she might be. Come down the hall and we'll see. The waiting room was dark and bare, except for an old lady sitting there. Molly, said Lori, I've someone to meet. She slowly got out of her seat. Molly, he said. Morty, is that you? They quickly embraced and faded from view. Lori decided silence was best. Let that couple peacefully rest. She told no one, and reports diminished. She knew that the haunting was finished. Night shift saw nothing and heard not a peep. Day shift just figured they'd gotten some sleep.